My name is Avery Groff with the Economic Lens, Kristen Heiser with the Psychological Lens, and Gavin Switzer with the Social Lens. Our presentation is about the use of technology and social media in the United States. The use of technology has rapidly grown in the past decade for Americans. A survey done by the Pew Research Center showed that the use of technology and the internet has increased in all generations. The research showed that nearly 100% of millennials use the internet, along with 91% of Gen Xers and 85% of boomers.
This has led our group to the question, how does the use of technology and social media affect the people living in the United States? Social media and technology have affected the United States in numerous ways. It has benefited our economy, started some of the strongest social movements in the 21st century, and affected the mental health of adolescents who use social media platforms. The lives of the people living in the United States have seen both positive and negative effects of technology and social media. Now here's Gavin Switzer with the Social Lens.
Thank you. One way social media impacts the United States is through its social implications. Social media plays a major impact on the growth of society and communication throughout the United States. This directly stems from the growth of social media. According to the Pew Research Center, an impartial research group, social media has grown from just 7% of all adults having accounts in 2005 to 2019, where 75% of people ages 18 to 24 have just an Instagram alone. 3/4 of the nation's 30.5 million millennials log into social media platforms on a daily basis. This massive increase of traffic to social media has caused social media to gain more traction in society as a place that can be trusted and implemented into lives every day. The growth of social media has led to many important social movements being made through applications. One of the biggest movements is the Black Lives Matter movement, which began in 2013 as a response to the murder of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. This movement was aided through social media until its climax of violent protests in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014. According to Marcia Munde, a field researcher for the University of Massachusetts Boston, social media played a major role in the, quote, scaling up of the Black Lives Matter movement. It did this by providing a place where protesters could discover a, quote, shared sense of movement identity, end quote, and organize their thoughts and feelings into something more complete. Social media, with its vast user database, can be instrumental into the influx of social issues and scale them up to much higher levels. A final way social media has impacted society is through what it has added to employment and job opportunities. Social media has opened up multiple new and exciting ways for companies to market themselves to potential candidates and discover and hire potential candidates. According to Robert Walters, a businessman and owner of Robert Walters, social media continues to play an increased role in the hiring process. 76% of possible candidates use social media to find companies, and 97% of those companies are active on social media. This has helped diminish the unemployment rate and create a period where hiring and job opportunities grow on a daily basis. This all leads to the conclusion that social media has grown into a major contributor to society, with much more to go. Now to Avery Groff with the Economic Lens.
Thank you. From my research, it is evident that the U.S. economy is growing from the production and use of technology and computers. The digital economy is focused on technological computing and the internet and has helped to grow the nation's gross domestic product, GDP. The Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA, a U.S. government agency, defines the GDP as, quote, the value of goods and services produced by the nation's economy, end quote. Federal Reserve economics Daniel Sheen and David Byrne note that technology is packing more of a punch in GDP calculations. The BEA found that the digital economy added 6.5% to GDP in 2016, which correlates to $1,209 billion. Technology adding to GDP allows tax and trade policies to be favorable for Americans in the overall economy. Along with the GDP growing, new advancements in technology are opening up jobs for Americans. Makia Henry Nicky, who has a PhD in economics, and her team of researchers determined that computer-based jobs in high demand include data sciences, coding, digital platforms, and e-commerce. The growth of computerized jobs is employing more Americans and providing tax money for the economy. The BEA showed the digital economy supported 5.1 million jobs and 3.3% of U.S. employment. Technology will increase the availability of jobs, resulting in a positive effect on the U.S. economy. The digital economy has directly affected gross margins and gross outputs in the United States. When looking at the effect gross outputs have, the BAE found that the numeral gross output for the digital economy reached $2.05 trillion in the year 2017. From this, it is clear technology is helping to increase the amount of money contributing to gross margins and outputs. Rocco Cavio, who has a degree in economics, connects technology and gross margins, explaining when companies invest heavily in technology, gross margins are rising. Along with that, the BEA found the annual gross output by the digital economy is 6.3% and is growing faster than the overall economy. technological advancements are adding value to gross margins and outputs. In turn, there is a positive impact on the overall U.S. economy. It is evident technological advancements are going to help grow the digital economy and better the lives of Americans. Now here's Kristen Heiser with a psychological lens.
Social media and technology play a large role in modern day life. However, social media can be more harmful than helpful at times. The effects of social media on the mental health of teens, especially females, can be drastic, possibly leading to depression, anxiety, and in some cases suicide. As a large part of daily life, the psychological effects should be evaluated and taken into consideration. Adolescent girls' psychological states are negatively affected by the use of social media platforms. Popular social media platforms like Snapchat and Instagram have contributed to the rising female suicide rates in teenagers. The suicide rate was 3 times higher in 2014 than it was in 1999. The Royal Society of Public Health, or RSPH, a nonprofit research organization, conducted a study about the effects of social media on the mental health of teens. They ranked social media platforms based on the amount of emotional support, self-expression, and community building, among other factors such as the effects on depression and self-esteem. The study determined that Instagram is the worst social media site for mental health, with Snapchat in a close second. One participant in the study stated, quote, "Bullying on Instagram has led me to attempt suicide and also self-harm," end quote. Social media users admit to the effects of these sites on their mental health, but the site's addictive nature causes people to continue to use it. Social media platforms are described as more addictive than cigarettes and alcohol by Shirley Kramer, the chief executive of RSPH. These platforms contributed to the rising suicide rates of young teen girls. Photoshopping and photo editing with filters have become more popular and more prevalent. Social media harms the self-esteem of adolescent girls through the way it portrays the image of a perfect body. 9 out of every 10 girls are unhappy with their bodies because of the false images posted on social media platforms. Shannon Murphy Gallagher, who has a master's in school psychology, said that when young girls viewed models, it, quote, "decreased body satisfaction and body image," end quote. During the study conducted by RSPH, a participant was quoted saying, quote, "Instagram easily makes girls feel as if their bodies aren't good enough," end quote. Social comparison theory suggests that people have the innate drive to evaluate themselves, often in comparison to others. Originally proposed by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954, it has explained how people's self-esteem is affected by those around them. People compare themselves to idolized figures in society, like pop stars, billionaires, successful business owners, and models. In today's society, this includes falsely portrayed lives and bodies. Social media has overall drastically affected the mental health of teens in the United States. One way we could help reduce the negative impact of social media is by having legal ramifications for cyber harassment. As it stands now, the website or platform handles any cases of cyber harassment and cyberbullying. However, 91% of young people claim that no action was taken when incidents were reported. By passing a piece of legislation that allows states to handle cases of cyber harassment that can involve ramifications, including fines and community service hours. Some problems can arise because judgments must be passed on a case-by-case basis, and there are many different forms of cyberbullying and cyber harassment. If a bill got passed, state and federal laws would differ, making it hard to control cases in which the victim and offender live in different states.
To ensure that the United States continues to see the positive effects of technology and social media, there needs to be an urgency to continually provide accurate and fast news to social media apps. According to the Pew Research Center, 81% of Americans get their news from, quote, "websites, apps, and social media," end quote. This gives social media the power of being a place that can play a pivotal role in the spread of information throughout America. The solution would open up news-related jobs in the economy, would provide a better mental state for people, and would provide trusted areas to voice opinions on social issues. The implications for this are the earning trust of Americans and spreading brands of social media throughout the country. Some of the limitations of this is the lack of people taking the time to only find true evidence, and it is shown that people buy fake news and companies rely on this to make more money.
Society is being impacted daily because of the growth of technology and social media. As the United States relies more on technology, the lives of the American people will see both negative and positive advances. Thank you.
All right, folks, thanks. Okay, we're gonna go left to right. So Gavin, I'm gonna start with you. In what ways did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
As a result of this project, I thought that I learned better how to communicate and how to become accountable for my actions. Each of us in the group had a goal that we had to meet, and we had a time limit to meet it, and we worked together and communicated with each other to make sure that all our goals and all our deadlines were met.
Okay, thank you. Kristen, how did the group decide to include Avery's perspective or her lens into the overall presentation?
We decided to include Avery's lens, the economic lens, to show that it has a drastic impact, like with technology in the United States, that it drastically impacts the GDP with an overall growth rate of 6.3%, and that's how fast like the overall economy is growing, and it's added billions of dollars to our revenue, and that's why we decided to include Avery's economic lens.
Okay, and then finally, Avery. Now having finished the project, what, if anything, do you consider to be a gap in your team's research that, if addressed, would make you feel more confident about your conclusions?
A gap in our team research is we didn't really include anything about the history of technology or social media, so I feel like if we would have included the history of how technology and social media has been created, and the history of suicide and depression related to social media, along with how social media has affected other social movements historically, that could make less of a gap in our research.
Okay, great. Thanks.